Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today's card is a clean and simple one with a lot of detail. If you can see on here all these fun details on these rectangles. Now this stamp set is called Grow with Love, and it has 4 of our different herbs on it: basil, rosemary, mint, and thyme. And a thank you so much, and a you're on my mind. And also from the Garden of, if you are going to be like sending a little gift of some tomatoes or cucumbers or something, zucchini. Everybody gets zucchini from people's gardens. You could put a little tag on that there. So this Grow with Love comes with the Grow with Love dies. I'm actually not using them on this card because I'm going to show you another set of dies, but it has a little envelope. It cuts out each of the herbs and also has that you can make a little tie circle and put a little tie around it to close that. And it has these 2 washi labels here. So that is a really fun addition to your die sets there. So that is the Grow with Love stamp set. But the other thing I'm using is a new set of dies that are coming out, called Textured Notes dies. Now these are bundled with the Textured Notes stamp set that actually has a beautiful not floral, but foliage, kind of like the herbs. I didn't get the stamp set yet, but I did get these dies. Look at these fantastic dies. These are going to be the star of the show here. Look at that. All, how many are there? 8 different rectangles. So if we were sad that we were not going to have our deckled rectangles anymore or stitched rectangles, we now have these with all these different designs. That's why I thought I would use them on this card and show you how easy it is to make. So I'm just going to take a piece of Whisper White and I'm going to do some stamping on it. Now, what you're going to do is just stamp on this one sheet here. I'm going to be using some Garden Green, and that would be some basil. Make sure I'm not catching an edge. I was having a little trouble with that earlier. Okay, we've got our basil, and we're just gonna randomly put these around, and I'm just using different greens. I'm using Garden Green, Shaded Spruce, Red Rubber, Stamp, and you just wanna kind of put your herbs scattered. Ugh, I got an edge on that. I could tell my hand was rocking, so we're going to try that again. Okay. This red rubber I should have trimmed before. It's a little bit off. Do you ever get a stamp set where there's a lot of red rubber around it, and then if you rock your hand even just a little bit, I'm looking pretty good here. Okay. So I'm going to stick that thyme right there. Make sure I'm not rocking my stamp. There we go. That was Shaded Spruce. And then I'm going to do Mossy Meadow for my rosemary. Okay. Also going to just down and up, straight up and down so I don't catch an edge. And make sure it's all covered. The rosemary was giving me a little bit of a... So I'm going to put that here. Okay, and now we'll go back to some basil. And the basil was Garden Green. And did some basil there. And then we're going to do another Shaded Spruce. Trying not to rock my table here. Looks like I got a good one there. And how about I kind of want to just have it random. So it's kind of, sometimes it's hard to be random. Okay, so then we did some thyme there. And then I'm going to go back to the rosemary, and I'm using Mossy Meadow. Okay, and I think I'll put that here. Okay, rosemary. And I think maybe we'll put some basil over there. And yes, I might be showing a little bit of favoritism because I love basil. Basil, 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 basil. Actually, I went on a cruise for my 40th birthday with some girls, and they had basil ice cream. It was delicious. It was delicious. I just stuck my stamp down on my table. Okay, so I'm thinking I need some rosemary up here. And you know, I do like rosemary as well. So put some rosemary up here in this corner. Okay, and it looks like I might just go with that. It's too, you know what? The basil is going to be next to it's, you always end up with a, how about I just leave it like that? Okay, so I'm going to close all my ink pads here so that they are not going to get into anything here. Shaded spruce for my thyme and garden green for my basil. Now this is how easy this is to do. Now you're going to take this piece, and that was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just a quarter sheet. And I'm going to take this largest die that's in the textured notes dies, and I'm just going to put it onto my piece of paper and run it through. Actually, if I want to, I could do it twice, but I think I'm gonna do it twice. You could actually do it, you could do it actually right now. This one, and we'll run it through. I'm gonna use this size here because this is gonna go here, and then I'm gonna use this one, which is, okay, there's 1, 2, 3. The fourth one, it has this little, it is gonna be my one that's crumb cake to go around that. So I'm gonna just take out this middle part here. So you put your die. Now, if you don't have dies and you wanna do this technique, you just cut your paper and then you layer your paper and stamp. And I'll show you or link a video to this. But this way is like a cheater way of doing it, because you're just going to die cut this out, okay? And we're gonna be putting something over here, so I'm not too upset. Well, actually I am a little upset. I need to get something here. So what could I slip in there? It's almost like I do have to slip in, I think I'm gonna put, oh wait. I think I'm gonna put in some of this thyme. Even though basil, you always get to that one part, but I think the thyme would fit in there. Ugh. Next time you do it, start in the middle and work your way out, because now I think I'm gonna mess it up, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, back to the drawing board. I'm using this largest die and I'm putting it on my paper. I'm gonna realize that I'm gonna have a border here and then a small one in the middle here, okay? So let me just run that through. Or actually, let me just do one at a time and I'll show you, okay? So this one I can just run right straight through my machine. Take a look at that pretty card. And I have my machine right here by me, but I didn't want to shake the table too much there. So let me just run this through. And since I made it 4 1/4 by 5, it gives me some room to not have to like try to, you know, I can just throw this part away. So that is going to be my piece that's going to be the focal part. Now, when I measured this though, this is actually 5 1/4. Nice. 5 1/2 is our card base. But this is 4 1/8 instead of 4 1/4. So darn, darn, darn. Why can't they make that measurement? Because our card bases are usually 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, you know, but so I had to trim this down to 4, and I trimmed this down to 4 1/8 because, oh, actually, this measurement is 3 7/8, I think it was. 3 7/8. Yeah, it's 3 7/8. So if you want to have this nice 1/8 inch border, you have to cut your card down to 4 1/8. I don't know why they do that. That's just not cool. Okay, so this is the piece I want to cut out of the middle here, okay? So I'm going to just put that in the middle and run it through my machine. And when I did mine before, it actually kind of worked out that it was like 1 inch the whole way around. Once again, looking at this card, there we go. And now you have this piece, and look at the cool. Both of these pieces have that same cross hatching on it. So that really looked cute. And then I just went and made a piece that was bigger than this piece that goes on here. And then you just pop it right, now it has to go. See how this came out of here? If you pop it on here and you cover up the hole, it's going to still be back in the same place that it was. You can see where we just put this between it, okay? So let's go ahead and put this on the, yeah, there. Okay, that's a good side. I was like, what is going on here? I'm gonna get some adhesive down here. Put some adhesive on here. I ran out of, well, let's just say, didn't run out of. I can't find my Stampin' Seal because I did a little move this week and it doesn't actually, and so my stamping stuff is just getting unpacked, and I've got my hands on a bit of a few things, but not everything. So this would have been the piece that comes out of here, and we just are going to put this in the middle to cover up the hole. Okay. And I'm showing you another really pretty detail there. Do you see that detail? I'm hoping that you have enough light too, because this is the first time I've used this lighting here, and it's a little bit dark, but we'll see how it looks here. Okay, so we've got this piece here, and notice how they match up, and we're getting to show off all the detail of that new die. It's just really pretty. Okay, and then for the sentiment, I used another really pretty detailed die there, and that's going to go in the middle of there. And I have this cute little "You're on My Mind," and look at the detail on that one. You have that little stitching on that one. Okay, and then I just rolled some of the linen twine around there, and then I'm going to tie a bow. I think I'm just going to slip it right through this twine here. Got green fingers, twine, there we go, and then tie a bow. There we go. I think linen twine is one of my favorite embellishments. It's just so natural, especially with these herbs, right? So it's almost like you don't need that on there, the twisting of the, let me get these the same size, okay. And we're gonna throw some dimensionals on there, using up some of the backs of, the edges of my dimensionals here. Okay, put that on there. These dies are going to go off the shelves in record speed, I'm sure. So whenever these dies come in the online exclusives on March 4th, I think it's the 4th, you are going to want to grab them. I am thinking of putting them in my Busy Bee bag. So you could get them along with the 8 card kits, and I haven't decided which stamp set I'm using yet, but I definitely want to put these dies in there. So we've got that cute little stacking of the stamp one time, cut out the middle. You can do this technique with anything. You could do it with a square and then cut a circle out, then cut a bigger circle to be the border around it, and then you'll see the stepping of the stamping. And then look how pretty that is. It has a simple little frame, and thanks so much. And so we're going to put that on the inside. So simple, but you know, it's so simple, but I think that stamp set just called for simplicity, you know, getting back to nature, and it's just so earthy. This one I just popped my bow on. This one I tied my bow on there. And once again, I just took my piece of white, and it was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I randomly stamped. I would suggest start in the middle and work your way out with the stamping, because remember how I got a little tricky in here, and I would have liked to have had some, but I was kind of covering it up, so you really can't tell too much. But do it that way. Then I took and I cut out the white that goes on the front of the card. Now, you can at the same time, if you would like, cut this out. These are the both matching. You could cut these both out at the same time, out of that white. I went ahead and did it just 2 different times just to show you, so I could pick up and show you the stitching. But you could put these on here. You could put a little bit of temporary tape on there, low tack adhesive, so it doesn't stick to the paper. And you could run these through, and you're going to get those 2 pieces. And then all you need to do is put a border piece around here. Now, you could, if you didn't have these dies, you would just measure this die, whatever die you were using, and make it a little bit bigger. But I decided to go ahead and use this little die here that was the next size of die that's in the textured notes dies, and then I made that in crumb cake. And then I just layered this one. I did another crumb cake to put around my sentiment, and then the sentiment I cut out with this simple stitching here. And so these dies are amazing. Love them, love them, love them. But I also love the dies that come with this Grow with Love stamp set. These are going to be, I'm going to have to play around with these for maybe next week or something, but I love the washi tape die that comes in that. So real simple, but a real neat card to show off how pretty that stitching is in those new textured notes dies that are coming out on March 4th in the online exclusives. That's going to be our new waiting for. They've had some really great things. You just go on to the online Stamping Up, go through on my blog, shop with me, and then it'll take you right to the Stampin' Up website, and up in the left-hand corner, you'll see a place where it says online exclusives. If you press that button, you'll be able to see all the online exclusives that are coming out on March 4th. Now, we as demonstrators get to see them now and make samples with them now, but you guys will be able to order it on March 4th. So I hope you enjoyed this simple, easy, one stamped page, and then do some cutting with your die cut machine, and you've got a pretty card. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.